Don't get me wrong.
Because I'm pissed right now.
Okay, what's going
So
on?
yesterday, you pulled my daughter out of class and you told her that it was mandatory for her to vote.
No, I didn't say it was mandatory.
So that's what she told me. These are her words, that she said it was mandatory that she votes.
No, ma'am. But go ahead. Finish telling me.
Okay, and that you projected your fears and insecurities on her, telling her if Donald Trump was elected, black people would be doomed.
Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. So let me say this. I am a minority inspector
Okay.
for 1016. And you know, as a minority inspector, you never, ever, ever discuss politics or your beliefs or anything.
You're a minority inspector, a political name, but you don't discuss politics.
That is why you fail.
So can we calm my daughter down here? Because at this point, you're making it like she's a complete liar. My daughter had never told me someone said anything such to her like this.
No, ma'am. So this is what happened. I did call her down to register to vote because we're registering all the 18-year-olds to vote.
She's not 18, she's 17.
Yeah, but she turns 18 before the election.
Yeah.
Precious!
Yeah, but I could have took my daughter to register her to vote. I did not ask for y'all to register my daughter to vote. I have not even spoke to her about the election yet. And I am not a Harris supporter. I am a Trump supporter.
Yes, ma'am.
So for you to tell her anything, and it's like now you're saying she's lying. So now I want her to come down here.
Listen, I'm not saying your daughter's lying. What I'm saying is that I did call her into my office. I did register her to vote. We did have a conversation about it. She did ask me about Trump. She did ask me about Harris. So we started a conversation about, you know, what's going on. I wasn't projecting anything on her.
You removed her out of the class. It's not mandatory, but you talk about something. But you didn't even ask the parents because you thought she's 17, but she's going to be 18.
About Trump. She did ask me about Harris. So we started a conversation about, you know, what's going on. I wasn't projecting anything on her. I was just talking about things that are going on in the world.
Yeah, did you tell her about the border being unsecure? Did you tell her about all the illegal criminals that's in this country right now?
So we did have a conversation about the border, and we did talk about the border policies and all of that. We did have a conversation about everything. So let me just say this. I apologize to you for offending you because that was not my intentions. I was not trying to project any of my political beliefs on your daughter or anything like that.
That's why I don't know why the conversation was had. What consent forms did I sign saying I was okay with my daughter being registered to vote in school? She's still 17 years old.
So what consent forms were signed for that?
None.
Because there really isn't any. You know, we just register students to vote here. At every high school, they're registering students
But
to
she's
vote.
still not 18. She have until the 21st of October, I believe, to register. And her birthday is on the 5th.
Right. So we are permitted to register all students whose birthday that happens by the 5th because that's the date of the election. So
Her birthday's October 5th, not November 5th. So she had until the end of October to register to vote. So that way I could have took her as her mother and I could have explained to her what to do, to look up both policies without me telling her anything.
right.
This is just not right.
She was asking me questions, and so I was answering her questions.
Yeah, because she wanted to know why did she have to get pulled out of class to register to vote.
No, she didn't. That wasn't the question she asked me. She was asking me questions. Hi.
So now when she's saying she didn't tell you, you know, the stuff that you told me she told you, that black people will be doomed if Trump becomes president?
Yes, she did.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
I didn't say black people will be doomed if Trump becomes president. We did have a conversation about policies and different things like that. You know, you were asking me questions, and I was telling you about some of the policies that he had and some policies Harris had. So we did have that type of conversation.
I don't think I was really asking questions. I think I was just really as much as so like, right, yeah, right.
So you was just like agreeing, like talking?
No, I'm not really, I don't really care about it, so I'm not really engaged in the conversation as much. I'm just like, okay, like, right.
So you didn't ask me any questions at all?
No.
Okay.
So I'm not shocked that I won. I'm not surprised.
Well, this is what I'm going to say. I apologize for raising your daughter to vote. At this point, she is registered to vote. If you would like to change that.
I am, because it should not have been done in the first place.
If you would like to change, anything that's on that form that went in, you're welcome to do that.
I know that.
This is wild. And her voice, the minority reporter, her voice was shaking, the way her leg was twitching. She's nervous because she knows what she did was wrong. But these people, yes, these people, not because they're black.
Yep, you're a lucky luck boy.
Just because they think they have more right than the parents, because they need to get the black vote. But you don't tell them all the truth, especially when you feel the parents might think otherwise. Just imagine how many kids she's done this to.
Here, it's going to go down a little bit. It just went down $100. We'll do that for you from the White House, all right? Thank you. All right.
Isn't this called bribe and buying voters and illegal? I'm like, it might be true. But if you think that's buying vote, isn't it almost the same when you ask for student loan forgiveness?
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are black.
Exactly.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Okay, let's talk about it. These are obviously racist claims, but I will respond to them as if Charlie Kirk were a reasonable person.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population.
Yes,
about half of all prisoners are black.
Wrong. Just 38% of America's prison population is black. That's according to the U.S. government. But it makes you wonder why Charlie feels the need to add an additional 12% to the black prison population. Could it be because his bigoted talking points only work if he exaggerates them? If Charlie were actually looking for the race that makes up half the prison population in the U.S., he'd look no further than white people at 57%.
Go look up the history. Shit, don't everybody believe in Google? Go Google that shit. See what I'm talking about.
Let us investigate.
Percentage of black Americans in the general U.S. population is 13% of the people in prison or jail who are 37%. I mean, if the population of white people is around 60 and the population of black people is around 13, but both of you have almost the same percentage in prison, it just proves there is an issue that motivates black people to end up more in prison, and we need to focus on that. So I think they need a little help, and to start, we need to help the fathers to stay at home, because most people that are in prison don't have a fathers at home, and it helps. I was done with the video, I found more information, boom! The stat that is reporting is from the Federal Bureau of Prisons, so officially it's not all prisons. For some odd reason there is no Hispanic, which is kinda weird, so maybe you're lumping something together. And last but not least, a lot of black people and brown people have been reported as white people. I have found them. And before I leave you with too little information that can be seen as disinformation, gun ownership. No, ladies and gentlemen, this is not GTA 6. It's Philadelphia, a democratic city. I'm not lying. It's just like I would never jump on a cop's car and have fun. Which actually makes me wonder, what did the city do that motivated people to feel so comfortable that they can do certain things to a cop? Maybe the certain laws you're passing.
Well, 34 aldermen voted for the $51 million.
That is ridiculous.
It did not come out without a lot of controversy, especially from some black residents who say the money should go towards Chicago residents who have been neglected for years.
Very much committed to a revenue stream or revenue streams that ensure that we are dealing with the crises of those who are unhoused in the city of Chicago, while also making sure that there's room for those that we are welcoming.
We need to allocate
allocate some of this money for our black children, for the black community.
$51 million for migrants brought some loud and vocal opposition from the public, to the point where police had to escort people out of the city council meeting several times. Mayor Brandon Johnson asked for a 2-minute breather.
We want to make sure that we can continue to conduct the business of the people.
If the devil was a Democrat, would you still vote Democrat? Because it seems you always keep voting Democrat when they're doing this to you. Next year, if you still vote Democrat, bruh, I am going to start to believe that you like emotional, political, symbolic wins. You don't care about the result, and you deserve everything they're throwing in your face. Actually, they ain't throwing anything.
Como salvadoreños reconocemos estos síntomas de la decadencia cuando los vemos, porque hemos pasado por todos ellos. Vivimos las etapas de la caída de nuestra nación una por una. Y estamos viendo esas mismas etapas una vez más, pero esta vez a escala global. No podemos ni deseamos decirles a otros países lo que tienen que hacer. Cada país debe tomar sus propias decisiones y hacer lo que sea mejor para su gente. Solo podemos ofrecer una palabra de advertencia de un amigo que ha pasado por una época oscura y ha librado la batalla de su vida para salir de ella. No podemos cambiar el curso del mundo. El Salvador es un país demasiado pequeño. Somos de hecho el país más pequeño de todo el continente americano. Esto es mucho más grande que nosotros y de hecho es más grande que cualquier nación. No podemos prevenir los tiempos oscuros que se avecinan, pero lo que sí podemos hacer es convertirnos en un pequeño refugio ante la tormenta que se aproxima y mantener la esperanza. En El Salvador no encarcelamos a nuestra oposición, no censuramos opiniones, no confiscamos bienes de quienes piensan diferente. No arrestamos a las personas por expresar sus ideas. En El Salvador tu libertad de expresión, así como tu propiedad privada, siempre estarán protegidas. En El Salvador priorizamos la seguridad de nuestros ciudadanos honestos sobre la comodidad de los criminales. Algunos dicen de que hemos encarcelado miles, pero la realidad es que hemos liberado a millones. Ahora son los buenos los que viven libres, sin miedo, con sus libertades y derechos humanos totalmente respetados.
I know a lot of people that would say this guy is a dictator. But also I know a lot of Salvadorians that want to go back to the country they left because now they don't even want to stay in socialist Spain. They miss their country and finally it's safe. But they left for a better future and now they want to go back in time. You would never understand the people that when you go play on the street as a kid, there was always the probability you're gonna slip on a little red liquid.
I designed a Christian activewear brand. God calls us to be a Proverbs 31 woman. My biggest flex is representing Jesus in the gym.
Maybe you know that's not how this works.
In all honesty, I think she's pranking the word holy, but then again, maybe we need to prank her. I mean, after that prank, maybe she will dress holy at the gym. Maybe. I know it's a bad joke. Oh my God, but I love stupid jokes because I find them funny.
We spend more money per pupil than any other country by far, and yet we're at the bottom of the list. Out of 40, we're ranked about number 40. And I'm going to close the Department of Education and move education back to the states. And we're going to do it fast.
Closing the Department of Education would be a grave mistake. Education is vital for our children's future and the nation's progress. We need leaders who prioritize learning, not undermine it. This moron has no idea what he's talking about. Education already rests with the states. The Department of Education does not create curriculum, each state does. That might be possible, but I also know if you get specific curriculum, you get more federal money than the other one.
Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
Are they a threat to democracy? Yes. Are they going to take our rights away? Yes. Are they going to put people's lives in danger? Yes. Are they going to endanger the planet by not dealing with climate change? Yes.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
She's a genuine danger to American security.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
We have to preserve our democracy, or speak out against lies and hate.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Have a consistent narrative about how dangerous
Trump is. President Biden has been clear-eyed about the threat that the former president represents to our democracy. Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy and our most fundamental freedoms.
Kamala needs to stop saying that President Trump is a threat to democracy.
I think you understand this parody of a bunch of stuff that people keep saying and that we think you might influence people to do certain things, right? They say there's so many threats, but then again, you control the media generally and you push this message. And you're surprised certain people start believing your message you say over and over. I'm not surprised. But Brian Christenstein, a leftist, yes, I watch a lot of leftist content because I want to know their opinion. And he says, can you tell me how many times Donald Trump called Joe Biden or Kamala Harris a threat to democracy? How about how many times did he call them enemies of the state? Serious question. I was like, that's a good question. Watch the video, Brian. They say a lot more than he's a threat to democracy, and you already know this. It's disturbing that you defend them still after 2 attempts on his life.
You know why a lot of men laugh at women and treat us like we're idiots?
They're dicks.
Okay, no, they're not dicks. Majority of men have to deal with women like this. I'm sorry with disrespect, but if majority of men today have to choose to have the mother of their children, to build a life with you, to build a career with you, that you both can build something together for the future, to have a life with you, and you need to deal with somebody that have so many mental issues and so many body count, why would they do it? They'd rather be alone. They
Because they give a shit what men think.
I can't hear this and I'll tell you why. You're a mother to children. You're sitting here in the podcast saying, oh, I'm a baby girl, I'm a slave. I don't want to hear this because literally you're disrespecting your kids. You are a mother before you are for yourself. You are a mother before you're something in this world. Your baby and your kid is the most important thing. You're supposed to protect them, love them, and protect them. It's not put yourself out there and talk about their mother like that because you're humiliating them. I'm embarrassed as a woman to sit in a table with a woman like you.
And my wish is that you like this video and share it, and that this mom speaks to a minority reporter and put her in her place.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde kush hash purple skunk criollo colombici jam jam. Turlo que ta verdeta welcome.